on Azure DevOps. So I earlier showed on project settings where you can actually configure your Azure DevOps, right? That is the integration with Azure DevOps. So I'm showing it again because that process is a very long one. Time will not permit us on this call to start navigating how to can actually do that. So you come here, Azure DevOps, you configure, can you see configure Azure DevOps, and you can see the URL of the DevOps and the likes. So you can manage your work items from that part. How does LCS help with data migration strategy and managing data packages? What tools inside LCS helps in tracking migration errors or mapping uh, issues? We have data management, data migration tools, quite a number of data migration tools that can actually help you in the course of your migration, right? And then there are quite a number of strategy, depends. Now, for instance, in data migration, there are categories of data that can be migrated per time. So if customer is actually migrating just master data, right? So you might need to do or work with the team at the front end because you will not want to move the transactional data, the historical data by moving the entire database, right? So if they want to move everything, talking about their historical data, it is easier to actually move the database. Like take a copy of the customer database, export the copy, and then restore the database on your SQL server and take that copy to the where it is needed. How do LCS monitoring tools identify slow queries? Slow, that is performance issue. Now, quick one, and that will be on the last note, right? So on this part of that's at the environment level, that's where you monitor performance. So I'm going to use this as a case study. I need one of the environments. So there is a particular tools we call environment monitoring tools. It helps you to manage the SQL activities, SQL insight, X metrics of the environment, see what is going on each of the servers, the AOS, right? And then you can then determine if there is a spike, there's a performance issue, there's a long running queries, right? That you can actually kill on the spot. You can even export the logs. This is the option, environment monitoring, right? This will take us to where you can see how many of those what is going on your environment can be visible, right? That is the LCS monitoring tools. So it's actually loading as we round up for this particular webinar session. Thank you for those questions. Raj, I really appreciate them. So it shows that quite a number of us have an idea of this particular. Yeah, good question, Raj. So these are the Earth metrics. Let's say, for instance, you want to check the Earth metrics of the environment and actually leverage using a particular timestamp. So you can select a timestamp. Let me refresh this page. All right. So look at the Earth metrics. Like I said, it can actually help you to manage and to see our visibility on the servers, AOS of the. You can zoom, right? This dynamic AS batch server, right? So if there's anything that is ongoing, you can see per date, then per time. There's any deadlock, right? You can see, right, from this particular view. So, and if there's an SQL statement that is failing, you can easily track it down from this particular page. And you can switch to the system as well. See, that is the capacity, CPU utilization. You can see there is a high load on the system, and then you are observing the performance issue, right? You can easily determine what is going on from this. Yeah, that's a very good question. That is what I'm just addressing. Instead of you seeing blue, for you to be able to know that there is a stress, right, that is being placed on your environment, you will see a red spike, like a zigzag, very going up right there. almost getting to 100, right? When it is above 50, 70, 80, then there is too much load on the what? On the particular environment. So, and how can you actually address it? Number one, right? You can actually come to the SQL insight to be able to determine if there is particular long running or probably a job or repeated task that is done on the environment. So, and it's placing a number of users on the system is too much, then you might have to stop that particular job. You can actually come here to check the SQL insight and see if there's a current blocking tree, current running queries, and the likes. Then, of course, we have the actions. You can see the list of actions that you can actually take. You can end SQL process. Then from the activities, you can determine the log, all error events, long queries. Can you see now? So all crashes. If there's any crashes, you can check from here. And then beauty of this is that you can even search and export them to Excel to be able to analyze. Thank you very much, everyone, for that wonderful session. I really appreciate it. Please feel free. I will encourage us, right? Uh, if you would like to learn more about dynamics, especially technically, so and even how to develop uh, code, how to manage your LCS effectively, you should consider applying for one of our trainings. And the honest truth is, you might not have access to these LCS on the uh, anywhere because it's not free. It's actually not free. So you need license to be able to secure it, and then right there at Koenig, we can actually make that available to you to learn how to develop, to learn how to manage D365 functionally, technically, and then become a developer. You want to prepare for certificates, international certificate, Microsoft certificates. You can also come for training. Then, of course, with the training, it can actually help you, right? To then okay, that's a very good question. How is security uh, maintained? How is environment security? Let me see that. During deployment and data refresh activities. Last question. How is environment security? Security of environment is of two, let me say, categories. Because the main security is the before you bring, you come into the environment, you are either a project owner or just ordinary user, then or environment administrator or a technical consultant, right? So we try to restrict users based on their role, security that is assigned on LCS, and that is project user. So then, secondly, another aspect of D365 security is you go to the front end. So that is not part of this session. So if you want to learn about that, you have to apply for some of our training, and then of course we can actually get you trained. So we need to come to the end of this session.